First of all, I want to thank you for your interest in the curing cart, the AntiEtch curing cart. We've been working very hard on this thing. It's gone through several iterations, and we think that we've completed our innovation. So you won't see very many changes moving forward, and the ones that you do see will probably be able to be integrated into the already sold carts. So first of all, everything you see here is included inside the cart when you get it, as well as these two extruded aluminum pieces. One of them is the mast and one of them is the arm, and they can be switched interchangeably. Are you getting both of these? Okay. So we're going to talk about how to put this thing together, but first I want to talk about some of these pieces that you're going to get. This is a 3/16 inch ball end Allen wrench. We're going to use this for every tightening and loosening action that we're going to undergo when it comes to putting this thing together. You're also going to be you're going to get a cap, and this cap is probably going to be screwed into one of these pieces. There's already one here. It goes in on the end. As you can see here, the screws here are a little bit loose, but each of these is threaded. So both mast and arms are threaded so that you can use these pieces to lock in your lamp, so it doesn't come off the arm or the when you're curing. So we'll talk about that in a second as well. This piece here is this stopper that allows you to raise and lower. Actually, it allows you to lower the arm to the point where it's about 2 inches above the counter at will. So you can put this stopper in, measure the counter. You do all this prior to you're starting your cure. Lock this in with your with your Allen wrench, and when you're done with your pin, you're going to lower the arm to this, and this is going to stop the slide, and you're going to be good. So you can trust that you're going to have a 2-inch cure. This is the bearing that both the mast and the arm slide on. Each of these pieces is replaceable, but you should get years of use out of these bearings. We'll talk about how these the mast and the arm slide up and down and how to put that together in a second. But everything you see here is included in the should be inside the cart when you get it. These allow the lamp to slide. These allow the lamp to slide back and forth on the arm. So the first thing you're going to need to do is install these onto your lamp. And we'll talk about that right now. Okay, so right now you see the light in two different configurations. This is the existing light that you're going to have. This is the light that you need to, these are the changes that you need to make to the light that are going to allow the light to slide back and forth on the rail. Now, a lot of people have expressed some concerns about not having a handle here. But we've actually found that simply holding a light with a gloved hand from here works very well. In fact, I found it actually a little bit more comfortable than holding it by the handle. You can put an aluminum bar between these two screws and hold it with a bar. Because the handle is a little bit higher than the sliders, if you needed to, you would need to add a little bit of a spacer here that would allow the handle to be underneath the sliders. It's a little bit uncomfortable when you're sliding the thing back and forth. So my recommendation here is just to use this like we do now, is just holding it by the fan. Okay, but so basically what we've done here is I've actually removed the hardware from the handle, and the hardware from the handle is perfectly sufficient to affix these things to the lamp. However, one thing you might need to add or want to add is a washer, a small washer. But it's the same exact hardware you just unscrew everything and then screw it in here. And then because this is threaded, here, you should have no problem getting this piece into the hole. So this is threaded, it's not going to come out now. You still want to use the lock nut underneath. That's going to prevent any movement and make sure that your slider stays affixed to the lamp. Okay, so that's how we do it. Okay, let's talk about the base of the cart. I'm going to be twirling this around a little bit so that we can talk about the different things. But one thing that I've added that I hadn't added on my prototype, and you might have seen some of these videos of the prototype, was the drawer actually popped open when it went over some bumps, because I had the drawer set to be to open when it was pushed in, which is automatic opening. In this case, I got rid of that and we put a latch in. This latch is a spring-loaded latch. It's not going to open. It's not going to open unless you pull it. Okay, so you want to make sure before you run the cart that the latch is closed, so that the drawer does not open while you're using it. It's more common than you think if the latch isn't closed. Now these are the brackets that allow you to put the mast onto the cart. Now the mast, there's two sets here. One is so that you can have the lamp go either way from out in front to the left or to the right. Okay. Now it makes it easy to figure out like how you're going to orient these things, how you're going to orient your curing. You can move the mast at any time. You can. What I've done is actually cured an island one way, and I've cured the separate outer areas another way, just because I felt more comfortable with how the cart was going to roll. The cart has omnidirectional wheels, so the 5-inch casters, as I said, allow you to move the thing back and forth in any direction that you want, and they are going to override a lot of the rough spots in the floor, grout joints, electrical cords, things like that. But you're still going to want to make sure that you clear these things out as much as possible to make the ride as smooth as possible, because the smallest bump here, if you extend the lamp out 7 feet, which you're able to do with this cart, the smallest bump here makes a larger bump out there 7 feet. Okay, it looks like it's crazy, it's bouncing back and forth. The lamp can take it, the cart can take it, but it's just a better, more even cure if you have the smoothest floor as possible. Okay, so this is everything you're gonna get. We already talked about a lot of the smaller items. You have the large arm and the short arm. The large arm is used as a arm when you're curing an island. That way you don't have to be moving around the island. You can cure up to a 7-foot wide island using this arm. Obviously you'd have to use the 5-foot arm as a mast in that case. And then when you're doing something smaller, when you need it to be a little bit more manageable, when you don't need as long a piece, this is a great piece to use as your arm, as your curing arm. That's normally done around the periphery areas that aren't islands, like just smaller countertops, like a long 24-inch wide countertop is perfect for that. Now it's important to know when you're using this as your arm and the larger piece as your mast, you have to think about the ceiling. Think about how you're going to install this thing. You actually have to lift it up over the top of this this piece here to slide it down and secure it to the cart itself. So you're going to want to go someplace outside or to an area with a roof that has a larger area that you have some room to work. Okay, so we're going to do. I'm going to install this smaller. This is a 60-inch piece as the mast. We're going to talk about how the 7-foot piece is going to be used to cure an island. Okay. Now to do that, first thing we do is we loosen our bolts here, Now, when you first get this thing, these things might not be perfectly lined up. So you might have a little bit of frustration kind of moving these things a little bit. All you have to do really is slide one in, kind of move this. If you just loosen these pieces, the bracket will slide around, and it allows you a little bit of flexibility when you're, the first time especially, when you're sliding these pieces in. So loosen the bolts, and they slide in. They should slide in relatively easily. As I said, the first time they might not slide in perfectly, and then you want to do it. You want to let it slide down really evenly with the bottom here. Now, if you let it slide further, it gets in the way of this wheel. You can see the wheel's not turning properly. Let it slide to the bottom of the cart. The wheel has perfect rotation, and you don't have any issues. You can tighten, if you just tighten one of these screws, you can let go, and then it leaves you free to tighten the rest. Now, I've actually used just used these bottom ones as a guide, and the top ones to tighten. Over the past, I haven't worried about tightening these. There's really no issues when it comes to movement. But sometimes when you're out 7 or 8 feet or 7 feet, having a little flexibility here can cause flexibility out there. So just know what you're going to be doing. Now, this piece is the stopper. You can put it in anywhere. You want to make sure that the stopper is used when you're lowering this piece here. So it can be put in anywhere. Let me just tighten this so you can kind of see what we're talking about. Let's put it down here. Okay. That's your stopper. That's going to stop the arm from going up and down. It's going to give you when you're going down to 2 inches above the countertop for your cure. This is going to allow you to make sure that you measure that out prior to the cure, but it's going to allow you to do that. Okay. So this is the bearing that we're going to be using to perform this cure, to install the arm onto the mast. And as you can see, there you go, it stops. Now what I like to do, so there's a couple of different ways you can do this. It's up to you how you perform your cure. But as you can see, this right here, it locks, it hits this bar. It is going to hit the bar either way, but you're able to make an adjustment. If you put the bar on the outside, you're able to make a easier adjustment. Now these things lock the thing. It's not going to go up and down. Okay, but it's still hitting. But when you're running your cord, you want your cord to have a guide. So my suggestion is to have the arm on the outside of the mast that you're running, so the cord is being guided by the inside of the mast. Now let me show you this. Now before you put the mast on, before you put the arm on, you're going to want to put your light. The light is sufficiently heavy enough. It's not gonna roll. It's sufficiently heavy enough to prevent the cart from tipping. My suggestion though is I actually have a bunch of stuff in my drawer. I leave my drawer pretty full. I have all the supplies that I might need, tons of tape, tons of sandpaper, stuff like that. That allows, it's almost like ballast. It gives me a lower center of gravity for the cart. So just consider that. But we find that the light itself is sufficient to provide the kind of weight that you're going to need to prevent the cart from tipping. Now, if you're moving it too fast, there's always an issue. So you want to move in a very methodical way. Now, when you're sliding the arm on, slide it straight in. Okay. Now as you can see here, this arm can go either way. I can go out 7 feet from the mast to the right. I can go out 7 feet from the mast towards the camera to the left. You can see that this piece here, I'm going to actually install the light here, so to coming out towards you. You can see this piece here is threaded. Now that's what the stopper is for. That's what this piece is for. You're going to want to save these, and the reason is because it allows you to prevent the light from sliding off. Okay, so we're going to install the light. You want to carefully untangle the cord. And what I like to do is I like to put the red button in the front. And what that allows me to do, actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go around, like I told you, I'm going to go around the mast. So if I put the red button in the front, it basically gives the cord a little bit more clearance. It gives the cord a little bit more clearance. Now, if I need to get underneath, it's happened a lot. I need to get underneath some lighting, drop-down lighting, chandelier, whatever. This piece is going to be in the way. What I've done is I've actually used a little bit of Velcro, like a Velcro strap. I just bought 30 feet of the Velcro, the half-inch Velcro strap at Home Depot. You cut it, you just put it in here. You want to leave it loose because what I like to do is I like to actually pull this cord when I'm moving it back and forth, when I'm moving it towards me. I'll just push it back. But so to lock this thing in, to prevent it from coming off, now if you're super concerned of it coming off, you can put both of these screws in. But what I found is if I just put one in, I can slide this thing off and put it back in the cradle without having to do it. But as you can see, this is preventing it from being, you see it? This is preventing it from coming off, okay? So the key here is just really to protect your light and to protect yourself. Now, if you feel like you need to move the mast, so you can see this is not locked. I'm not sure if you can see this, but this is not locked in. It's not gonna. Now, if I was to push this mast out towards you, if I push this mast out, there's some play. See this? There's some play here, and I'm not able to lock. I'm not able to lock this. So to prevent that from happening, all you need to do is lift up the bearing to the top here, lock it, and then lock this to the point where you're able to prevent it from moving. Now I can bring it back down. Now I have I'm able to loosen this. Now I can push it towards you. Let me give itself a little bit of. Now I can push it towards you. And lock it. And now it still has a little bit of bounce, but it has much less play in it. And there's no, I don't know if you can see this, but there's no delineation here. There's no sag from the point of the bearing to the lamp. Now, when I'm running the light, if I'm running the light like 7 feet off this cart, I'm going to do this with 2 people because I don't have control of this arm. And as you can see, if I just pull down slightly on this, it does rock the cart a little bit. You want to have another person on this end helping to guide you, okay? Now, it's not necessary. It's not 100% necessary. If you have some ballast, like I said, in the cart, you can also move around, do a plan to move around the island that you're doing. You can also just move back and forth in straight direction, in a straight manner, because you're not going to be going crazy when it comes to the movement. You should be okay. But I just wanted to make you aware that the further you go out, the more off center, obviously, the more off center you're going to be. And so you want to make sure that you're not, just be as responsible as you can with how you're managing your lamp, okay? One more thing, as you can see, that where the mast is located here, the mast is located on the left side of the cart. You can move the mast to the center, okay? A lot of times that's going to give you more stability. You can also, if you have, say, 6 feet to go to your left, you can move the mast over closer to the right side. That'll still give you your 6 feet. So that gives you more stability. The key here is just to be as safe as possible. Manage your cord. I've already had a couple of times where my cord has fallen into the AntiEtch just because it was late or I was being careless. I think I'm Superman or something. So manage your cord just with simply strapping it with a Velcro strap loose so that you're able to pull the light back and forth. And the more you do this, the more you have the more you slide your lamp back and forth, the easier it's going to be, because these sliders that we have are they're going to wear down a little bit. Any of these little pieces, they're all replaceable. I haven't had to replace anything yet. All right, a couple of extra things. I want to talk a little bit about taking the light off, dismantling this thing, also using the cart in a little bit different way. Just simply to hold this lamp while you're curing by hand. All right. So as I said, you don't need this screw in here, but if you have it in, you have to unscrew this piece. Just fold this up like this, and make sure that you have enough slack so that you're able to pull the lamp off the arm, and then stow it on the cradle. Okay. Now, what we've done to remove the arm, you can see that this bearing here locks in and slides down. So this piece is always going to be in the way. So to remove the arm, you have to remove this end piece. Now, I highly recommend leaving these end pieces on when you're curing. The reason is because they're plastic, and this is very sharp aluminum. And any touch on any cabinet is going to affect it. But what you can do is you can leave this plastic on, and you're going to have a much better chance of not affecting it. I've actually gotten the corner guards for kids that they use on furniture with 3M tape, and I just basically just tape it around here with blue tape. I don't do it permanently because I want to be able to remove this thing. So I'll put a corner guard on with blue tape when I'm underneath a cabinet that has maybe some sensitive backsplash, so that it doesn't affect the backsplash. So that's one tip. Another thing is when you're sliding this thing off, you want to make sure that you have enough room. Always make sure you have enough room to slide this thing off. So you never want to slide this thing into a light or anything. So be careful of your surroundings. But you don't have to slide this out if you're not going to be using the cart again. You can just slide it up and off. Okay? So what that does is it protects any of the surrounding surfaces. And now you have a cart that you can use to cure the back corners and cure zippers and things like that. So you can leave this light on the cart and just basically have a place to put things that you might need, like acetone or whatever, while you're doing your initial cuts. All right, that's how we do it. So, also this cart, while it's not wide enough to fully transport two lines of Festool boxes, the Festool boxes will kind of sit right on the ends of the cart here. You can use the Festool. You can put the Festool boxes on the cart and use the Mast to kind of lock them in. And what we've done is use a strap or Velcro. I'm sorry, a bungee cord, and just made sure that, like, if we have a big stack of Festool boxes, we're going up 3 or 4 stories in an elevator, we can use our cart to transport those boxes, and use another cart for the vacuums and the other things. So. Just a couple of hints that might help you guys out, how we've been able to exploit this cart for our own benefit. So that's pretty much it when it comes to putting the light together, or the cart together. When we're going to be doing some more videos over the next few months, just to kind of like show how this thing is working and how you guys are able to I'd like to get some videos from some of the applicators that are using it, so that we can find some improvements to the cart. Like I said, I don't think we're going to have a whole lot of innovative improvements that are going to change the actual functionality of the cart over the next year or so, but we might be putting some pieces in there that help improve the use. All right. If there's any questions you have, let us know. Take care.